right, y'all. Jump on this here. Got a few people in here. BJ up in the house. Okay, Marcus, what's going on? MJ. Ernest. Ernest. You see BJ up in here. Got BJ from No Fields of MMA. What's up, man? I know Ernest better watch out for that. But yeah, man. I want to get on here a little bit earlier and talk about this interview. Shout out to High Five. He had asked me about it. He asked if I seen it. He sent me a link. He sent me a link to the first. To this. Hang on, let me shut this alarm off here. MJ. And I don't know if MJ had asked me about it, but no, High Five did. Yeah, High Five asked me about it if I had seen the interview. So I checked it out. I watched both parts. There's still more to it. I think her name is Scarlett Zhang. I think she's kind of posted it in like segments. She posted part 1 and part 2 so far. So I just wanted to come on here and kind of talk about it a little bit and give you my thoughts. Of course, there was like one standout point that, I think a lot of people have been talking about. So, I just kind of want to give you my thoughts on that. And I just want to talk about, the state of mind that the former champion's in right now. I think it's kind of, it's still kind of hard to say if Zhang Weili is ready. It's hard to say. Okay, MJ, yeah, you did ask me about it. Okay. Yeah, I know High Five has sent me a link. He actually sent me a link. And shout out to John Baker. John Baker, he had commented on one of my videos. I think he commented on a live stream. And he said he had actually replied to Scarlett Zhang. And, she hit him back. I saw it. She hit him back. He asked her about the statement that Zhang Weili made about Rose Namajunas, as far as like seeing her as a god. And I'm going to read that comment that she left him. He gave me the comment, so I'm going to read that because I was wondering about that myself. So, yeah, hold on. Let me pull that comment up he left me because he sent me what she said to him. So, but I don't know how many of y'all seen that. How many comments? I'm gonna read that because how many of y'all seen the interview done by Scarlett? It's called something like, what's it called? It's a show. It's called My Bronze Age or something like that. My Bronze Age. Scarlett Zhang on her YouTube channel. Let me see here. Yeah, he gave it to me because it was like like some things get lost in translation. That's why I wanted to know for myself before I just like start talking about it in a certain way. But they use their words in different ways. They see different terms and different views. The way we see God or the way we see a king or something like that, it's in a different way, So, yeah, the interview, it was posted in like segments. It was 2 parts, 2 10-minute parts. And first off, I have to say, I've seen this before. I've seen it for years and years, even as a kid. You always see like a champion fall. I mean, this ain't the first time. I know even for y'all, like you see a champion I've seen these documentaries before where, a champion kind of tells us how they lost their focus or how they fell off. I go back to Mike Tyson. You go back to Mike Tyson. That was when I was a kid, and Mike Tyson first got knocked out by Buster Douglas. That was tough, because you're so used to seeing this guy as a champion and being unbeatable. He had all 3 belts. He was undefeated, riding a little bit higher, and boom, he goes in there, meets somebody that can stand up to him. Buster Douglas gets knocked down, gets back up. He comes back and knocks Mike Tyson out, right? Even in the world of the UFC, Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva was seen as a guy that was one of the best, and then he gets knocked out by somebody like Chris Weidman, who else? Just those like that kind of lose their aura once they get beaten such a, crazy. No, I'd say the craziest one for me during my time. That's why I even like seeing Zhang Weili. It was a shocker, but not like a big shocker. Whenever Roy Jones got knocked out by Antonio Tarver, it was very similar. Roy, champion, always seen as, one of the most unstoppable boxers. And he got stopped in the second round. Same kind of fashion. You know what I mean? Like second round. That's the beginning of the fight. You don't even get a chance to get going, and boom, somebody knocks you out. So it kind of messes with you psychologically. You know what I mean? It wasn't even like a war. You guys didn't even get a chance to put on like a back and forth action fight. So seeing Zhang Weili, it was kind of like in that fashion. So I could kind of see definitely where she's coming from. There's going to be excuses. There's going to be a lot of pain there and a lot of deflection in the beginning. That she's going to be pushing back, saying, no, it was this, it was that. I didn't get enough time. It was the referee. You're going to find a bunch of people to blame. So when it first happened, I was like, no, the referee did not interfere. It was over. I've seen it before. You just kind of have to look at it in the fashion of the damage she had taken and the state of mind she was in. She said it in the beginning of this interview too. Like she said the octagon and the cage was kind of like flipping. You know what I mean? Like when she got knocked out, she wasn't in the right state of mind. It was just her having to come back to accept that. So the night when we watched it, I was like, whoa, I expected more of a fight out of Zhang Weili. I picked Zhang Weili to win. Like, I wasn't like some of y'all that put money on her. But, I told y'all it was 50-50. But I had, if I had to pick, I was going to pick Zhang Weili because out of what I've seen, her work ethic and character based off of that, I was going to go with that, But when that night happened, anything can happen. And when it did, I was shocked. I was like, I wanted to see more out of her, and it was just one of those things. It was just one of those things that you can't really, you can prepare for because it was a mistake. But, like when that one perfect kick or perfect punch lands, that's something that's one of those things you just can't factor in like MMA math, Yeah, I remember Vernon Viper. Yeah. Who else? Yeah, there's just been a lot of crazy stuff like that, I've been seeing, so it's like knowing what she's been going. Yeah, rest in peace to Vernon. Yeah, he's been gone for a while now. But Vernon Forrest, Ricardo Mayorga, right? Yeah, that was crazy. But I think that Zhang Weili, she is kind of coming to terms with it. After watching the little interview with her now, I kind of see that it was definitely something that she had to kind of finding herself. It wasn't something that you can just kind of run away from. Like, she said when she went back home to China that she thought it would kind of go away, but it's not going to go away, man. It's not going to go away until you understand in yourself that you lost the fight, and she was talking about how she went to Twitter and, social media, and it was just like, stay away from it, because there's two type of comments, good and bad. And I mean, like, she was just seeing so much bad, and I would have been the same way. Like, I would have just told her stay away from it. You know what I mean? Because it's always going to be two sides to it. There's going to be the crazy Rose fans, or there's going to be the Zhang Weili fans that think they understand your pain, but they really don't. There's got to be the person that's not really seeing you as, like this God, like she was talking about. You need somebody in your corner that's going to bring you to reality. And I think I'm going to talk about her coach a little bit. Coach Kai, like, he seems like a level-headed guy. He seems like he's been good to her. It just seems like the advice hasn't been followed to a T. You know what I mean? So I was looking at the beginning of the interview, like she said, whenever she first lost the title, it was hard to sleep. It was something that kept replaying in her mind, like I think it does with any champion, especially first to second round knockouts, very beginning. She said that she went like 20 hours awake just thinking about it and kind of replaying it, asking her team, like, did this really happen? Is this for real? And it was like, yeah, yeah, you're not the champion anymore. You no longer have that belt. And that's what she's kind of been just trying to take it all in, take all that in. I know one part that she brought up that was interesting. Like, she mentioned, like, I wouldn't take this as like an excuse, but if you saw the interview, she said she was sharing the same room as Chris Weidman, right before the fight. And, they spoke, they dapped each other up. And she said when she looked up and saw that fight play out, and she saw Chris Weidman's leg break, when she saw how his leg broke in there, it kind of took her out of focus a little bit, which I'm not saying that's it. I hope she's not using that as an excuse, but that's crazy. Like she said, when she saw that, it kind of took her out of her mind frame. And, you usually don't hear that type of stuff because it's not really like he's somebody close to her. It's not like she's, somebody like on her team. You see, even when I was watching boxing as a kid, like when I saw like the big cards, like you see the undercard playing, and then you would see like the champion in the background. Like you see Julio Cesar Chavez in the background getting ready while, somebody else is performing, and they be watching the fights on the monitor. You see like a Terrence Crawford or Canelo, like while they waiting to, or Manny Pacquiao, while they waiting to fight, you see them watching the monitor. They're watching the other fights. So, they don't really have any tie. Some of those guys, they may have a tie to somebody. Maybe they might have a guy on their team, in their training, but they can't let it bother them. I know the one that I seen most recently was maybe like a year or two ago, whenever the Charlos, Jamal and Jamel were on the same card in boxing. And Jamal, he had to see his brother on the undercard lose that night, and they're twins. And it did kind of take him out of focus in his fight because he had a close fight. He won his fight, but it was very close. Like seeing it on the monitor and hearing his brother lose, it kind of took him out of focus, But that's just interesting for me that Zhang Weili had brought that up. She was like, I saw Chris Weidman, on the screen that in the back and, saw that leg break, and it was kind of like it broke her focus, So I just kind of thought that was I thought that was kind of interesting. I just thought that was kind of interesting. Like, I never really thought of something like that as being a factor. I mean, what do y'all think? Like, I never really did. Like, I thought it would just make you even a little bit more careful. You know what I mean? To make you say, I better be on my P's and Q's tonight so this doesn't happen to me. But even in the interview, you know, she was saying, like, whenever you get in there, if you break the focus just a little bit, you're gone. And like she said, like, she wasn't all there in that first round, which is crazy, man. I mean, like, whoa, come on. This is championship night. You know, you letting this crowd get to you. There's a lot riding on this fight. It's almost like a little political war, you know, created too by Rose that night. So this is the time to show up. You know what I mean? So second title defense. So it just kind of showed you too where Zhang Weili was mentally that night and where she's probably still trying to break free from. You know what I mean? Like, that's very, 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 very critical, man, to mind. But yeah, man, just putting in all that effort, I know how that would probably feel, you know, all that going to waste, you know, never getting to use it. And before, you know, she says she was trying to get ready for this fight, you've got to lose that resentment. And I think that's a big part of it. You know, you can't make no more excuses to try to act like, oh man, this girl didn't beat me. You know, you have to kind of give that person credit so you can move on and kind of move forward. Like, you have to accept that. I mean, like I said, so many in the past have done it and they just come back and they handle it, you know, because her mistake was a mistake. It was not a fluke. It was a mistake. So it's something she has to kind of lose that resentment for, which is the part I want to bring up now. So after she said, you know, she lost that resentment, you know, she can kind of push forward now because she accepted Rose as the champion. The words she used, these are some of the close to exact words. You know, she said, okay, she lost the resentment. She's moving forward now. She sees Rose as the champion now. Like, she's saying it now to herself. Like, I have to see Rose as the champion now. You must admire her. You must respect her as a god. And my first reaction when I heard that, I was like, see her as a god. And then she said it again, you know, it was like, okay, you have to see Rose. She is the true champion, just like a god. And I thought about it. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to take this as somebody who accepted defeat or is preparing to accept defeat again. Like, how do you take that? Like, seeing a person as a god. Like, to me, I think when you put somebody on that pedestal as a god, you know, you're kind of defeating yourself already, because everything I've always learned about fighting and, you know, seeing other people is that, and opponents, is that, you know, you have to understand that person bleeds just like you, you know, because Zhang Weili, she seems to be humbling herself and not thinking of herself as a god. So my thing is, okay, that person across from you, you're supposed to always remember that they can bleed. You can hurt them and they can go down just like you. That's the way you kind of bring that opponent into your world. Like, you're supposed to respect a fighter, but you're not supposed to respect a fighter, if that makes sense. There are two types of respects when you get in the octagon or ring, man. Like, let's say, all right, two different animals, right? You got a lion and a cobra. Like, a lion, of course, he's bigger than a cobra, but he's going to respect the cobra because of how he could kill him, right? He has that venom. You know, he's going to respect him. He's going to stay away from him to a certain extent. You know, that's respect. He's going to respect that animal because it could do damage to him. But if the cobra was around his lioness or his pride or his cubs, or had them in a spot where they couldn't get out, he's going to not respect him anymore because he's going to have to kill him, right? You know, he's going to have to kill that animal. So he respects him in the fashion that he could kill him with his venom, but at the same time, if he had him in a corner where he had to fight him, he would kill him. You know, he would put that respect out the door. You know what I mean? So I think that's just something that Whaley has to come to terms with there too as well. Like maybe she is. Maybe it's just the way she's using that term God. Like I said, I only use that term in one way. I don't ever call anybody on earth a God. Like, yeah, that's just not happening. But yeah, John Baker, shout out to John Baker. You know, he's a subscriber, and he had commented on a video, and he reached out to he reached out and commented on that interview with Zhang Weili and Scarlett Zhang. And Scarlett, you know, she replied back to him about Zhang's use of calling the Rose Namajunas God. And Scarlett, she said this, you know, she responded back to John Baker. He gave me the message. She was like, I think she was just trying to express what she viewed. All right, hold on. I think she was just trying to express is that she must view Rose as the new top dog, with all credit due. You know, Chinese people are not particularly religious, and the word God is thrown around quite a bit just to express respect and awe. So that's what she had told him. Which, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Okay. Maybe Zhang Weili's just kind of using that term God as like king, you know, like saying the person's a king. That's cool. You know, they took your crown. They're the king. They're at the mountaintop. That person's the king, right? They conquer one king. You know, they take that throne. You get knocked down. So, yeah, you do have to respect that person as a king. But you have to come back and take that throne again. And then you'll be seen as the king. So I think maybe that's what it was. Like, maybe she was just using it in that way. Like she said, you know, Chinese people don't really use that term the same way we do. So, yeah, I could see it in that fashion for sure. But I guess the one part of it is that, you know, she's still saying I have to admire her. I have to admire her. Like, I don't think you have to admire that person. You know, that's I know you can say the better person won that night, or they had one up on me, but I think when you start to give someone too much power, even with words like that, it just kind of takes away your aura, man. It kind of takes away your aura, and it kind of takes away your it'll start to take away your power, if you will, like superpower or anything like that. But you know what I mean? It's like your mental power, your mental edge over Rose. Because now Rose, hearing that, you know how Rose is religious. So hearing the word where she's called a God, I mean, if she's humble, she won't take that as like a power move. But, you know, she'll be thinking that, oh, I've defeated her mentally. You know, there's certain words you use, like if you're going to fight somebody, I think you have to be careful with, you know, calling somebody your God, saying you admire them, that you have to kind of bow down to them now. All right, in the manner of speaking, like I said, you know, if it's a king, they took in your throne, they'll force you to bow down, you know. But I think that Zhang Weili just kind of needs to lose that resentment for sure and just say, look, I'll be back. You know, I can be better than her. She beat me today. She beat me fair and square, but I will be back, because the war is not really over, right? You don't have to give in and say, oh, man, like, yeah, she is the greatest now. Like, not yet. Better man won the day, or better woman won the day, but I don't have to fully give her my power. You know what I mean? That's where I see it. That's kind of where I see it. Like, I think there's been a big mental edge now, you know, now, especially too with the haircut, you know, they showed her going through the transition with the haircut too, you know. As soon as I saw the hair coming off, I was like, oh man, like, I never really talked about the haircut too much, I don't think either. So I know I've seen a lot of fighters have that transition when they get beat. I know I was watching boxing, Miguel Cotto think he first faced his first knockout loss, he got the tattoos. He started getting the tattoos. I know when Joe Frazier came back and fought George Foreman the second time, he had the bald head. He shaved the head. And now you see Zhang Weili, after getting knocked out by Rose, she's coming back with the shaved head. I mean, they say it was a haircut she used to have back in the day. They used to always say she had short hair, but now it kind of makes it like, oh, the timing couldn't come at a worse time. The timing couldn't have been worse, because now you cut your hair right whenever you lose to a girl with the bald head. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. They showed that, like, they didn't really go too deep into it. Like, Scarlett Zhang didn't ask her. She didn't fully ask her, like, oh, did you cut your hair? Like, some people are thinking you cut your hair to be like Rose now. Like, they didn't say that. Like, they just talked about how she used to have her hair cut like that back in the day, which I saw some pictures of her. She did have short hair. She did used to have short hair. But, yeah, what else? Let's see here. But yeah, that's kind of my take though, man. Like with the word God, like that's another thing, it's kind of like a culture clash, I guess. I think we'll see it in a different light. So when Zhang Weili uses that, once again, the people that see the word God as a high thing, as a high power, like we do, we'll start saying Zhang Weili is in that mind state to lose again. I mean, I seen other people commenting saying, no, she's kind of found peace, and they're like, oh yeah, you need to bow down to Rose. I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't bowing down to nobody. If they did take my belt, I'll give them credit, but I ain't gonna bow down to them. So that's why I say, like, for me, I wouldn't use that word. Like, learning from Muhammad Ali and just seeing his moves, like, yeah, he would give credit where credit was due, but he would always come back, and be like, I'm the greatest. So I think Zhang Weili saying that for me, it kind of puts me in the mindset where we just really have to see her kind of rebuild a little bit more. I just want to see her rebuild a little bit more. Even hearing her talk in the interview, just talking about the loss, it's still kind of it's still a hurtful thing because it's still fresh, so, and they make it seem like it was just, like this long reign of history, what I mean? But it just happened 3 months ago, and, she didn't even have the belt that long, it wasn't like she was like a 10-year champ. It wasn't like she was on it was never seen as Zhang Weili like being unbeatable, you know what I mean? Like, it was never seen that she was unbeatable to the point of like Chris Cyborg or something. Like when we first seen Chris Cyborg, she had her first loss in the beginning of her career too, but it was more of a shocker when you seen Chris Cyborg losing the fashion that she did, because she was such a long reigning champion and nobody ever seen her losing, right? So yeah, I think that I think Zhang Weili has still some rebuilding to do. I think she knows that too. But that's just my thoughts. Like, I would really be careful on the choice of words with a fighter like Rose, especially like the way Rose had kind of put this thing into such like a political standpoint and put so many people against her now. And now you have to say you admire her and see her as a god or as a king. That's gonna like turn this whole thing upside down again, to where she's seen as the villain again, you know what I mean? Because now people are gonna say, oh yeah, Rose is this perfect queen-like presence, and believe me, fans say crazy things, so I'm not imagining. Let's see what else. When she was talking about moving too fast too, that was a good point though. She said that they did move a little too fast, like when she beat Jessica Andrade and, moved into the Joanna fight. She said they didn't reflect, rewind, or review. And that's important, man. Like, you just can't come into the game, win the belt and never, like, go back and see flaws. I think they were moving so forward and so fast that they thought they were kind of invincible. You know what I mean? Like, they were going on a 21 fight winning streak, and it seemed like she couldn't be beat. So they didn't really think they had reason to reflect and, kind of review where she was at. That's why, like, the mistakes she was making in the Joanna fight, or the mistakes she was making in Tisha Torres fight, they were going to come into the Rose Namajunas fight. But specifically, the mistakes that she made in the Joanna fight came into the Rose fight. Rose was just much more quicker on the draw to expose that, because she's seen it time and time again throughout Zhang Weili's fights. So I think it's that's important, for these champions to go back and say, look, it's time to reflect, man, and see what's up. Like, what do we need to work on? Like, especially going in there with the top level striker like Rose. Like, what do we have to perfect? Like, we're not perfect, But I think her coach, man, he's been giving her good advice, man. I think it's just on her, man. Like, everything she said, like Coach Kai says, it makes sense. Like, whenever she was still thinking about it, he told her, you got to think of it as just a match. You have to come to terms with it. It's just a match. It's not your whole life. Very, I'm sure, yeah, very critical stuff on his part. I think it's just on her to accept that. But what else, man? I think it was so far, like, from the two segments I've seen, an interesting interview. Talked about the last part that cut out was where she was talking about her jobs that she had. Like, I didn't know, like, well, she was a hotel receptionist, but I didn't know she was a security guard. Like, it wasn't like a major security guard, but it was just like at a metro station, I think. She was like patting people down and just checking for weapons. So she was a security guard before, and she was a kindergarten teacher. I think that one was kind of surprising. I think, hearing her that she was, a kindergarten teacher, well, I've seen some teachers in the game, I know Brittany Cloudy was a teacher as well from MMA. So, she said she liked kids too, so I could see that. And it cut off right at the good part too. Like, she was talking about, like, how there was a lot of mass stabbings in kindergarten. That is crazy. Like, don't ask me why, because it cut off right there, but you need to go right back into that, man. That was crazy. It's a lot of mass stabbings in kindergarten. Like, people stabbing kindergartners. So she was having to, like, be like their bodyguard. Like, somebody tell me about that if y'all heard about that. Like, maybe I should have researched it myself. But she said, like, in China there was, like, these mass stabbings. Kindergarten, I'm thinking kindergarten is in China, it's young too, right? They're like high school kids. So I thought that was kind of weird, man. Anybody ever heard of that? I'm gonna kind of research that myself. But yeah, man. Hang on here. Yeah, I've never heard of that. I was just kind of looking at that myself now. I never heard of that. But yeah, let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's really my take though, man. Like I said, I just wanted to get on here and kind of talk about that because a few people asked me about it if I'd seen it. So I looked at it last night, and I started the other night and just saw a couple keys in there. And I said, let me go back and watch the first part full and the second part, and then I didn't even know there was a third part too. So I said, damn, I gotta, keep watching these. It's kind of getting interested, but it's nothing new. This happens to champions all the time, man. They'll come back and lose. Shoot, it happened to Rose, right? Rose went in there against Jessica Andrade looking like she was, about to, win this thing easy. Could have. As soon as she lost focus in the second round, boom. You know what I mean? So hers was very devastating. I mean, hers was like coming off a neck surgery, and boom, she gets slammed on her neck. Like, Jessica Andrade was ruthless in that fight. So the person that and that's my other point too, like, you can't really say, okay, we have to admire her like a god. I mean, y'all know the girl is good, but she can be broken. Like, the girl you're fighting, the girl that knocked you out, has been knocked out. The girl has been finished. Carla Esparza finished her. Again, Jessica Andrade finished her. Jessica Andrade about finished her again in the second fight. And remember what you did to Jessica Andrade. You knocked Jessica Andrade out in one round. Like, you made quick work of her. So it's just a thing, man. Like, no God status passed around here. I think it's just all about styles and mind states. I don't even think she has to dig too deep in the mind frame like that. Like, oh man, like, I gotta reflect. What was it? It's just you. That's all it is. It's just you. You just have to say, look, I messed up. I was not focused. I didn't focus on defense. That's it. And I'm saying that, like, after a few months, once you accept defeat, you guys gotta say why. Oh man, like, I can't strike like Rose. I didn't have the defense. That's all it is. And more and more you kind of dwell on it and kind of think that, oh man, like, my God status was broken. You never were. There is no God status. You were just a person in there. A person in there that didn't reflect, like she said. I didn't reflect, didn't review. I didn't rewind. So you went in there the same as you did against Joanna, and Joanna can't hit hard, so you can go back and forth with Joanna, but the minute Rose finds that button, that off switch, Rose is going to turn that off switch off immediately. So it's not, it's not something. It's only deep if you really make it that deep for you. Of course, like I said, the game is mental, and that's why you see it is mental, because it is hard to accept it. But the quicker you accept it, the easier it becomes. It's going to become a lot easier. Like, her mistake was so easy to correct, but it was so easy to expose. You see how dangerous that is? Like, so easy to correct, but if you don't, it's so easy to expose. Yeah. But let me see these comments real quick. We're just going in. I wanted to kind of review on that thing, but what were y'all talking about? Let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling back up here where I was at. MJ said Whaley lost a lot of Instagram followers. Well, damn. Well, you kind of see who's there for you, who's not. I mean, I'm still following her. I mean, I'm still a fan of the work ethic and the fight game over. You know what I mean? Like I said, for the ones that are unfollowing, they're just sensitive people and they just don't understand the game. Like, again, whenever guys like Mike Tyson lost and, someone like that, I'm not gonna follow their career anymore. So if she lost Instagram followers, I think that's for the best, because that's just a bunch of wishy-washy people that don't want to roll. They don't really roll with you even in defeat. Let's see. MMA Art, what's up? He said Rose is a master, way more skilled than Whaley. Whaley is strong powerful and tough, but she does make a lot of mistakes and gets hit a lot. Rose just knows how to beat her. Rose beats her again. I don't know if she'll beat her again. I think she does have a few more skills. I don't know if she'll beat her again though. Like I know she definitely has more skills. I mean, Rose had more skill than Jessica Andrade, and you saw what happened, right? It's just gonna come down to what happens that night. Who's gonna be more focused. It's still a mental battle in there. I think Whaley still has enough athleticism and power and toughness and grit. And let's say she adds defense there. I think she has enough to add to the factor to make it go a little bit longer. If she corrects that one mistake, it's going to be a long night for Rose. You know what I mean? Like, it could still be a long night. Like, skill is one thing, man. If you say more focused, you could sell that to me. But just off of skill, I can't say that's going to make her beat Zhang Weili again. Because, again, Andrade, I made that mistake. I said Rose is going to pick her apart and win the fight because she's more skilled than Andrade. And what did Andrade do? Second round, slam. Done. The less skilled fighter beat the more skilled fighter. But what did it come down to? It came down to focus. If she come in more focused, then yeah, like that's what it's going to be. Like a more focused Rose will defeat Zhang Weili. But if a more focused Zhang Weili comes in and Rose isn't focused on keeping that belt, then boom, you know who's about to lose. Person with no focus. All right, what else? Oh, y'all talking about Andrade and Rose. Okay, I see. Y'all talking about Andrade and Rose. Healer the mind body. What's going on, man? Healer, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know if Whaley is getting the rematch. She's kind of been talking about it. She's basically saying she's been preparing for the fight. And that she's about ready, because, she's no longer holding that resentment. But we'll see. I mean, personally, I think she should wait. I think it should be it's all in how you take it, Healer. Like, yeah, like that was my first reaction too. Like, she thinks he's a god. Like, maybe it's just in the way she used the word. Like I said, we were talking about earlier, Healer. I mean, for me, I don't use that word on people, like I said, but maybe it's just a term like how Chinese people, they throw it out there. That's why I said you have to be careful with certain words that you use because they will put you in a different perspective. Like I said, like king, I wouldn't even use king or queen on her because, like I said, that's going to give that person more power, So, yeah, check out the interview. I mean, I'll post it here in the link of the description when I get off of here. But yeah, I think Zhang Weili needs a little break or another fight before she does this because it's Carla Esparza's time, man. Because, like, shout out to Carla Esparza. Like, everybody doesn't like Carla for whatever reason. Like, I haven't never really found a reason not to like Carla Esparza. I mean, what's not to like about her? I mean, you don't like her style. I respect that. But as a fighter, what's not to respect about somebody who's grinding for 7 years grinding for 7 years, say 6, 7 years on the low and beating everybody in their way, and then ask for a title shot. Like, aside from you not liking her style, like, what else is there not to like about Carla right now? Like, what does she do to make you not root for her to get a title shot? Again, if you can put her style aside, if you can put Carla Esparza's style aside, like, I don't like wrestlers, I don't like boring, short wrestlers or whatever. Like, what is it you don't like about her? Like, some people, I'm just saying, like, what is it you don't like? I'm liking what Carla's doing because she's grinding, she's working hard striking, her striking's gotten better, she's got physically strong. You know, I'm only speaking facts here, so you can't disagree with me. I mean, you can dislike what I say, which I don't care, but that's all I speak in when I'm talking about what Carla's done to get to the top. 6 years away, fought top 10 opponents, 5-fight winning streak, hasn't been screaming for a title shot at 2 fights or 3 fights. She's not been bugging at all. She's just been grinding. She's improved. For a fighter her size, you know, she's gotten hella strong. Like, what is it? What's the holdup? You know, what can we say? It's Carla's time. And that's the big part. Like, Zhang Weili, okay, maybe if there wasn't a Carla around, maybe we could say Zhang Weili deserves that title shot. If there was no Carla around, I wouldn't even give Yan Zhana. And let's say if Yan Zhana had beat Carla, I really wouldn't want to see her fight for the strap. But because she just didn't have enough skills to do that, I think we saw that even before she lost to Carla. In my opinion, she beat Claudia Gadelha. That's another fight. Like, before losing to Tatiana Suarez, Carla beat Claudia, in my opinion. You know, so that would have been a top name. Well, in my opinion, I think she did beat her. You know, so let's say she beat a fighter like Claudia. She beat Verna Jandiroba. She beat Alexa Grasso. She beat Michelle Waterson. She beat Marina Rodriguez. She beat Yan Zhana. Somebody stop me whenever they tell me she doesn't deserve the title shot. I mean, look at that resume. And on top of that, she fought Tatiana Suarez. I mean, she lost, but she went 3 rounds with her. Like, who the hell goes 3 rounds with that type of beating? Like, that girl said, look, I'm going to stay in this fight until I can find a way to win. If I can't find a way to win, then she's going to have to kill me. Like, Carla's pound for pound got one of the best resumes. She pound for pound got one of the best resumes. Next to her, next to Carla, Andrade and Rose, and you can say Joanna too. I mean, they got some good names on their resume, man. They got some good names. You can't help but root for a fighter like that, man. That's just fighting the best. And that's just me. Like I said, that's how I think, man. Yeah, MJ said he likes Carla. Okay. Yeah, that's why I say, like, the momentum Carla is on, I never, like, could just go in there off of seeing, like, how Rose moves sometimes. I can never just go in there and say Rose is going to do it. Like, one time I did. Like, there's one time I almost felt like, without a shadow of a doubt, like Rose was going to beat one fighter, and that was Joanna. Because I was like, okay, Joanna is not a physical dog fight. You know, she's not going to be in there trying to dog Rose out. She's going to be trying to strike with Rose. So I said, if Rose is as good as she is with her striking as of lately, and her boxing skill is on point, then I think she's going to, what did I call? I called a knockout of Joanna. I was like, she probably going to stop Joanna, and she did that. You know, I was like, yeah, that's the type of style that Rose can handle. But you know, taking on fighters like Whaley, Carla, Andrade, like I said, I picked Rose to beat Andrade, but there's really no like definite there. I felt more definite with the Joanna fight because of matter of styles. Like Joanna, she's not gonna put hands on Rose as far as like grabbing her. The other three fighters will. Whaley, Andrade, and Carla will be reaching for Rose. They will be trying to go in and take her down. They are gonna put hands on her. They're gonna try to grab her. So yeah, like you have to take all that into consideration. That's why I can't just say Rose is gonna win this time around. I mean, I see Rose working. They've been working. They've been hitting the mats. Kamaru Usman's in there. She's working with one of the best wrestlers. So I think they are preparing for this rematch. It hasn't been announced yet, but I think they're working on it. The chances here, Rose built her chances up since that first fight, no doubt. No doubt about that. Robot Chicken said he'll be okay with Carla being champion. At least she doesn't go into hiding. Yeah, I never really think she was that type of fighter to go into hiding. I never really thought she was that. Yeah, Mary, I think Carla has a better gas tank than Rose, honestly. I think she does. And I think her footwork is going to save her. Her footwork is going to save her from being hurt too. Carla can kind of go on that back foot and stay away at times, from striking. She can kind of stay away from that type of striker. But in Rose, I think could keep down. I mean, I think not Joanna, but I think that Joanna, she was harder for Carla to take down because she was so much stronger. But I think Carla could probably get Rose back down, like she did before. But it's going to be a little bit harder, and that's just going to play into the level of experience, and the growth they both have acquired over the years. Gordon said, I have to say I disagree with Whaley. Rose is a god. Rose is a goddess. I like. No, not a goddess either. I would never go as far as to say that about, like I said, any fighter. Roger, what's up, man? MJ said, I still think that Rose KO'd Joanna because of bad weight cut, but because Valentina, who is a much better fighter, couldn't KO Joanna. Different styles, MJ. Different styles. That's different styles, man. Yeah, let's talk about that just real quick. I'll break that down. Like, I was not surprised at all. I'm not going to take away from Rose's victory that way. We could say bad weight cut, but it was still a perfect shot from Rose Namajunas. Rose Namajunas, perfect left hook on that chin would have knocked Joanna out on her best day. Let's be real. She hit the light switch. And it was off. That's all you can say. I mean, that was a perfect shot. Joanna can't really hang with somebody that's going to fight at a range. She's not going to fight at a range like that and fight well. She wants somebody that's going to stand in front of her. Rose, everything Rose was doing against Joanna was leading to a perfect knockout. She was boxing her. She was boxing her beautifully. And the left hook she didn't see coming. And the ones you don't see coming will knock you out. I can't factor in the weight cut there. That's her fault. But Joanna got knocked out clean. Now, the Valentina fight, on the other hand, that's a different style. Valentina was not taking the same approach as Rose. And again, that's a different weight. If you want to factor in the weight, Joanna came in at 125. Made her a little bit stronger. Made her a little bit more durable. Okay? Maybe we can look at it in that way. But still, Valentina's approach was not the same. Hers wasn't the same type of boxing approach like Rose did. Rose stepping in and out of range, switching the stance up, hits her with a left hook she doesn't see coming, knockout. Valentina was taking her down. Valentina was like ragdolling Joanna, different styles. Valentina wasn't really in that knockout mode like that at times. I mean, she was kicking her in the chest, she was kicking her in the body. She was kind of just simply systematically breaking her down. And just because, she's a much better fighter than Rose, that doesn't mean that somebody gonna get knocked out all the time. Who's a better knockout artist? Just because, Valentina may be a better fighter than Rose, but Valentina still might not have some of the same attributes that Rose has. Rose, to me, has a better commitment to boxing, if that makes sense. Like, if you just want to pick that one fundamental, I think her boxing gets her those type of results because of the way she takes the approach to it. I think Valentina has an overall better MMA approach, where it's the Muay Thai, it's the wrestler, it's the grappler. So her stance is a little bit different than Rose's. Rose, when she came into that fight with Joanna, it was more slick boxer. It was more counterpunching boxer. But Joanna, when Valentina fought Joanna, different approach, different game plan. I had somebody mention that to me before. That's why I had to kind of go back and break that down. I was like, you can't really go by that. Like Valentina's win was still legit over Joanna. I mean, Rose's looked much more spectacular because she was the first to do it. But just because Valentina couldn't do it, doesn't mean she can't at some point. But, there just wasn't that type of pressure there either. There wasn't that type of pressure from Valentina to go in and land that big left hand like that. It was just kind of a good rangy fight, and then it was a ground fight of just really trying to nullify Joanna. Yeah, Marcus. Yeah, styles do make fights. Yeah, styles make fights. Gordon said, I do dislike Rose delaying her next fight because she didn't need much recovery time. Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm just ready. I'm ready for this fight, man. I'm ready. I mean, Valentina's already lined up with Lauren. Hey, let's go ahead and get Rose in there with Carla. Mary Thomas said Rose has made it clear she's among the best and the legend in her own right. Yeah, Mary, I think JJ could have a stronger chin at a bigger weight. Yeah, I could see that. That's possible. I think. Well, you know what? Let me take that back. I don't know if she'll have a stronger chin at a bigger weight. I think she'll be stronger at a bigger weight. Sorry. I think, Mary, that JJ will be strong overall, but the chin, I don't know if that'll be as strong. I mean, I think if you still hit that thing in the right place, you'll still get laid out. Because you can't really build up the chin, can't build up that chin muscle. But I think she'll be somewhat stronger, like grappling and clinching wise, and maybe jabbing and punching wise, and maybe her legs can go 5 rounds, even stronger, even better. That's why I think, Tatiana and JJ at 125 would be a crazy fight, man. What do y'all think? That just popped in my head. JJ and Tatiana at flyweight, that would be crazy. I would favor Tatiana at 115 against Joanna, but I think if Joanna and Tatiana fought at 125, that would be crazy, man. Pink K, what's up, Pink K? Pine K. Yeah, Pine K said, I want Rose to fight on a 268 card. That wouldn't be bad. I mean, as long as they close the year out with the fight, hopefully if they can close out 2021 with this fight. I mean, if I had my way, I would put Zhang Weili and Joanna rematch as the co-main event, and then I would put Rose and Carla as the main event. Yeah, MMA art. That's another fight I really want to see. I want to see Joanna Marina at some point. I think if we get Joanna and Marina in there, that could be a that could be a logical answer. If Marina beats Mackenzie Dern, if Marina beats Mackenzie Dern in October, Marina and Joanna would be a nice fight. But Zhang and I still need Zhang and Joanna to fight, man. Go ahead and get that rematch out of the way. Yeah, Carla. Yeah, I want that to happen at the end of this year. Rose and Carla, it's got to happen at the end of the year. Mary Thomas said the strawweight division is a very colorful division full of high caliber competition and that small chance. Yeah, unpredictability. Yeah, it makes it interesting, man. And then when you just throw in fighters like Amanda Lemos, I mean, Amanda Lemos right now, shoot, throw her in the mix. I like what I see out of Amanda Lemos too right now. Yeah, man. Yeah, that would be the card I would make. Like, let's go ahead and get Joanna and Zhang in their rematch on the undercard. 5-round undercard, 5-round co-main event, and Rose and Carla as the main event. Gordon Morris, he likes the Andrade versus Maya. Yeah, that would be a good match. I think Jennifer Maya is strong as hell, and I think that might be another fight where Andrade might be neutralized. Maybe that might be another fight where Jennifer Maya neutralizes her. That would be interesting, man. And if she chose to strike in that fight like she did against Jessica Ai, she might have better success. She might have more success. Excuse me. I don't think Andrade's too small for flyweight. I think this is her weight. She's not trying to kill herself to make 115. I think, she's filled out nicely. She's got power. I think Valentina was just on another level, but I think that, Andrade still handles a lot of the other flyweights. Andrade has still got that power. Like, Andrade, to me, might carry the power a little bit more. Yeah, MMA. Joanna gets that hematoma a lot, man. Like, she's got it in the Karolina Kowalkiewicz fight. Andrade, Whaley. Yeah, she get that hematoma. Like, she's had that hematoma like 3 or 4 fights. That's why I think it's dangerous, man. Like, for her even to be fighting. She might want to wrap it up in another 2 fights. Like, if she doesn't get the title, or even if she does win the title and gets that 2-time strawweight championship, if she gets that on her resume, at 2 times, so she can say that 2-time champion, she might still want to call it a day, man. Because I don't know, man, that hematoma ain't no joke on Joanna's head, man. That thing be growing. I mean, all it take 1 hit to the forehead, man, and her head be on swole. Her extra strength comes in. She'll probably just have more weight in her frame and more solid power. She finished Chikagian with body shots. Yeah, her body shots, man. Them body shots were vicious on Caitlin Chikagian, and I think this is a good weight for her, man. Just because, yeah, she's able to generate a lot of power in her shot. Gordon Morris. I don't know if she's actually sick. Either way, though, even if she's asymptomatic, I mean, you still can't perform. If you test positive, I mean, just because you asymptomatic, the next person might not be if they get it from you. So I won't say merely. There's no merely when it comes to testing positive. I've been around this world, as far as seeing this in the medical field, and it's no joke. There's no merely in front of that. There's no merely test positive and you be asymptomatic, because I've seen people, that been asymptomatic be around the people that don't have it, and that person gets sick and they wind up in the ER. So, yeah, there's, either way, it's still bad. It's still bad. I still wish her the best, regardless, because, yeah, somebody gets it from her, they won't react the same way. Robert Henry, what's up? He said, what you guys talking about? Rose is a god. There you go. I know that's coming from Robert Henry. No, Robert Henry done said it good, man. No, man, but for real, though, I thought it was an interesting interview, though. I mean, it's still being posted. Scarlett Zhang, it's on her YouTube channel. First time seeing her do YouTube interviews, honestly. But it was a good interview. It's posted in segments. It's kind of chopped up. I guess a part 3 is coming. But like I said, man, I want to hear more about when she was a kindergarten teacher, man, because she was talking about how, like, there were mass stabbings in China, man, like, amongst kids. Like, that's crazy. I mean, I ain't heard about that. Where I been at? Like, who else has heard about that? Like, that's crazy, man. Like, she was talking about kids being, oh yeah, MMA art. Don't put that word in the comment section because it does something to the video. So when you mention the MMA art, just put 19. Yeah, MMA art. When you say it, just say, I think the 19. Just say the 19. Don't say it. Don't actually say the word, because it triggers the videos or something. They go into, put it into another, like, realm or whatever. Hold on. I've been telling a lot of people that, but they still do it. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I just deleted that. But yeah, I heard what you said though, MMAR. It could, man. It could. I think testing positive, I think it affected Cynthia Calvillo a little bit, man. It's hard to explain, but it does it to a lot of channels, Mary. Even, like, people with bigger channels. It puts the videos in a tag with what's going on in the pandemic, and it kind of triggers them, and they start taking it out of let's say it starts taking it out of the MMA category and the sports category and puts it in there, and then it starts to take my videos and notifications away for whatever reason, if that makes sense. It's been doing that with other people. You know, when you mention that word, or if I put it in my title, like if you look on some people's videos, if you put that title in your video, it's going to bring up something about the virus, and it's going to start talking about stuff about the virus in their ads. Or I don't even get the ads, but like it's going to start putting it under your video. Like I seen that happen when people put that word in their video. It'll change their whole algorithm, whatever you want to call it. Like it's going to put it in a whole different, let's just say it's going to take out these videos and you won't see the notifications anymore. Robert here said he going downtown, man. I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling right now. I'm gonna watch these fights at 6:00. Yeah, Big C. Big C works for me. Big C, like I said, 19. I don't even feel like I'll say 19 anymore, because that number is going to be around. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Big C is better, man. Just go with the Big C. I'll take that. Big C works. Yeah, around my way, like when we don't want to put people's business out there, we just say somebody came up hot. You know, we just say they came up hot. You know what I mean? Like around here, like our choice of words when we're talking in the workplace or whatever, like, you know, we just say so and so tested hot. We don't even say tested no more. We just say, oh, so and so is hot. They'll be out of commission for a while. You know, we don't want to put their business out there like that. Gordon said, I just meant only not to diminish this situation. Just wonder how actual health. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Yeah, if you are asymptomatic, you still got the 14 days and you can still come back. Yeah, because I remember Amanda Ebos, she tested twice. Amanda Ebos, she came up hot twice. One time I think she was asymptomatic. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ebos was asymptomatic one time, but the next time she tried to get that Angela Hill fight, she still had lingering symptoms. So it kind of came back and hit her. You know, it kind of came back and hit her. And I think it's been affecting a lot of fighters, man. I mean, it's sad to hear, though. It really is sad, man, because I think with the effects that it has, that I've been told about and that I've seen, when it hits these fighters, sadly, I don't think a lot of them are the same when they come back. The ones that get sick, you know, the ones that get sick for real, like affecting your lungs and everything. Yeah, man. I was just watching that fight this morning, Marcus Bell. I was just watching Cheyenne Bays and Ruiz again, and I was like, wow, man, like she was getting tossed up. She got tossed up like 4 or 5 times in that fight, and she could not get out. She could not get out of it, man. I'm going with Gloria DePaula in that fight tonight, though. Yeah, Mary. They got a case of bad beer. Yeah, man. But yeah, it was it was crazy just hearing again, like how crazy we got to this point, man, where I was looking at the news again, like some of the things I don't really listen to on the news, but how we back in that same situation where it seemed like we might go back to being on lock again. For real. Yeah, I got Glory DePaula, and then I got Jinu Fry against Ashley Yoder. Hmm. Oh man, I was just looking at something, that Nico Montano documentary, just the teaser to it. My bad. Told you sometimes I get distracted when I pull stuff up while I'm on here, but I think that thing will be interesting. It might be. I just want to hear what she got to say. Man, Nico, man, she's in something right now. All right, so yeah, man, Zhang Weili, I think, I think that, I mean, there's a part of me that says deep down, I know that the UFC is probably on the low about to sign this rematch up with Zhang Weili, but I'm trying to think logical here, man, and I want to think positive for Carlos Esparza. I hope they do the right thing and they make this rematch. You know, if they're thinking money, then yeah, I know for a fact what they're going to lean towards, and they're going to make us all say they did it again. You know, so it is quite possible that this rematch could be coming. Carla and Zhang Weili, like, it could be very well possible the way they're talking about it. Pitbull versus McKee. I'm gonna go with McKee in this one. Yeah, I gotta watch that tonight too. Yeah, definitely want to tune into this card, man. Bellator 263. Yeah. We got that going down, man. I'm gonna go with McKee tonight. Yeah, it's gonna be a good fight, though. I mean, being a champ, you know, yeah, sure, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he won, but you know, it's gonna be a good fight. I just like what I see out of McKee too. Who else is on this card? I'm looking at it right now. Okay, Vanessa Porto and Alara Hawani. Yeah, like I said, with that fight, I'm gonna go with Vanessa Porto. I'm gonna pick the experience in this one here. I think she got the experience to do it. Gordon Morris said Whaley versus Valentina at flyweight is still a dream match. Yeah, it's a dream match, all right. It's a dream, all right. I personally don't want to. I never wanted to see it, actually. Like, I didn't want to see it last year either. I talked about it like a year or two ago whenever they were talking about the fight. I don't want to. I don't want to see it until Whaley like really does something big, man. Shoot, we had LFA last night. I didn't even watch that, man. I don't know, man. A dream match for me though is seeing who is a dream match here, and let's say in the WMMA world. I know a dream match for me was Andrade and Suarez. Yeah, Andrade and Suarez, that was a dream match right there that I used to want to see. No, you right. Get with Candy. You right. Get with Candy. Whaley's not on that. Whaley's not on Valentina's level yet. You know, she definitely not. I mean, when that fight was being talked about a year or two ago, I did a video just kind of breaking it down, and I was like, that fight don't need to happen. You know, when Valentina Joanna fought, that was a good fight. You know, and we saw how that went. But I mean, Joanna, in my opinion, had earned that right to fight Valentina for the belt that time, because she had a much better resume, and she had a much better track record than Zhang Weili. I mean, if Zhang Weili had bagged like 5-6 title defenses, let's say she beat Rose and she moved on and she beat Joanna again, or she beat Rose again, and she beat Carla Esparza, and maybe maybe Mackenzie Dern or something, and then Zhang Weili could probably be in talks of moving to 125. Yeah, MJ, that's another dream match of mine. GDR and Shevchenko. I talk about that a lot. I know some people disagree with me when I first mentioned that. They start talking about size, but Valentina was at 135. So, yeah, that's a dream match. Definitely one of my dream matches. GDR, Shevchenko, and yeah, Mary Thomas. Suarez and Andrade. Yeah, that's still one of my dream matches right there. And Marina and Joanna is still a match that I want to see too. Yeah. Gordon said no one is really worthy of Whaley except Rose and Valentina. And if Whaley can't rematch Rose, you know Valentina's willing and has no true rival at flyweight. She needs a great matchup. No one's really worthy of Whaley. I think. I think since Whaley's lost her belt, it's kind of the way around. Like, Whaley kind of has to prove her worth again. You know what I mean? Like, it's only fair. You know, she only had the belt for. She beat Andrade. She defended it one time, right? You know, she has to prove worthy. And to me, Whaley and Joanna, they're still on the same level, more so to me. You know, Whaley and Joanna share the octagon, close fight. They're both under Rose and Valentina right now, you know, because Joanna's lost to both of them. Whaley's lost to Rose, so Whaley's kind of on their level. And Whaley's just not a rival for Valentina right now because, you know, she's not there yet to me. She's just not there yet. I mean, even seeing a Zhang Weili at 125, it's like who could you match her up and like say she'll beat easy at 125 aside from the champion? Like if Zhang Weili moved up, like how many contenders could she beat? Like could she beat some of these top girls at flyweight easy? That's the question too. Like could she handle that weight and that strength of Jennifer Maia? Could she handle that chaotic style of Caitlin Chikagian? There's some things that you have to kind of take into, you know, consideration. Eagle FC is tonight. I'm trying to look at the calendar here. I don't see it on here. Eagle FC. I see a schedule of Eagle FC for Tuesday. I don't see tonight's schedule. I see EFC 38 on August 3rd, but not tonight though. Yeah, don't see it on here. Let's see. The UFC card tonight starts at 6. Prelim start at 6. So yeah, I got time. Oh, why do I not say Eagle FC tonight? Where are we at? Okay. Let me go to their Instagram, huh? Yeah, I'm on Eagle FC's Instagram and they keep saying August 3rd. I'm not seeing it. I just see August 3rd up here. I don't see July 31st anywhere. Let me type it in. Hold on. Yeah, I see Eagle FC 31. Maybe you thought July 31st, but no. Is Eagle FC 31 is on Tuesday. Right? August 3rd is a Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah, Eagle FC is kind of like weird like that. Like, you know, those overseas fighting championships, they be on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I thought so. I was like, I don't see it. Yeah, because tonight we have Bellator, and prelims are going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern for UFC. So, yeah. I noticed Bellator don't mind competing tonight, huh? Bellator don't mind competing with this card on the UFC. That's why they're on Saturday this time. I still would like to see Usman and Khabib fight. That wouldn't be bad. I mean, I want Usman, Khabib. I want Ngannou and Jones at heavyweight. There's a lot of good fights I want. Gordon said Whaley beat 2 champions. Any other strawweight contender won't be challenging. She'll cream them, and it's the same way with Valentina. She'll roll over the flyweight contenders until she gets to Grasso and Lee. You talking about that Andrea Lee again, huh? Okay. He said Grasso and Lee. Okay. I don't know though with Whaley, man. Who else is she going to really, really destroy? I think Marina would have a tough time on the ground with Whaley. You know, I think Whaley's so much stronger, but Marina does have that power if she could keep her striking going. Then, you know, Mackenzie Dern's got the ground game, so that would be crazy, man. George Handler, what's up? George Handler said, all you got to know is that the only ladies that have a chance versus Bullet are 5'8" or better and in a higher weight class. It's like when we had the Jesse Owens racing against horses. Right. You know, yeah, I think we about at that level. Like, you have to start putting that person in there with another species, right? Yeah, Jesse Owens racing horses, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like the Bullet, you know, the Bullet Valentina, yeah, like she's at a good weight now to just dominate. But I think, yeah, herself, if she really wanted to get a challenge again, it would have to be at 135. You know what I mean? Like, I like what she's doing now. Like, she's fighting everybody at flyweight. She doesn't mind fighting because, you know, she knows that she can beat these girls, you know, for sure. Like, when you look at that list of flyweights, you know, even deep down with me, I know that out of that top 10, she's probably going to hit her 10th title defense, and she knows that. So she's kind of at the weight where she doesn't really have to exceed, but she can show you everything that she has. She can show you everything we've never seen her do before. Like, even when Andrade came in there against Valentina, she had that ability to do that. We just never seen it. So she's not really having to. Well, she exceeds in training. That's the thing. Like, she performs to to a high level in training. That's why she's so good. So when she comes in on fight night, nobody trains like her. That's why they can't perform like her. So Valentina's at a weight right now where I think she's not even having to work hard in the octagon because she works so hard outside of the octagon. That's why she continues to defeat everybody so easy. You know what I mean? Like, so I think she's cool with this weight. She doesn't mind staying at it because it's just going to continue to make her look good. It's just going to continue to make her look good. Like, you don't have to step up and fight these big fighters at bantamweight. The only fight she wants at bantamweight right now is Amanda Nunes. I mean, personally, at this point, there are good 135 pounders that would make some good challenges for her if she wanted, like GDR. GDR is a good fight. Angela Lee and Michelle Waterson. Prime for prime. I'm gonna lean towards Michelle Waters in that fight. Call me crazy. I'm gonna lean a little towards Michelle Waters. Just a little bit. MMA Art said Nunes and Cyborg. MMA Art said Nunes and Cyborg 2, which I think will go completely different. Nunes and Cat 2, I personally wouldn't want to see that one, but Nunes and Cyborg, it might go a few more rounds. Yeah, get with Candy. She don't like putting on that weight. Yeah, I mean, she's got two things going for her. She's in a weight class where we know nobody can beat her, and she's at a weight that feels good for her. So you can't knock that as long as she continues to defend the belt. Marcus said when Cat fought Megan, she gave Megan a lot of space. Yeah. Yeah, when you give Megan a lot of space, she'll just use that long range, right? I think Nunes and Cat would go completely different this time around. I think Nunes would destroy this time, man, for sure. I mean, that's just me, though. Nunes and Kaufman at featherweight. I might have to go with Nunes again. Oh yeah, George. Make sure you just say 19 or just say the big C or 19 because that kind of triggers the videos when you actually put that in there. When you put the word in there, it does something. So I'll just have to remind y'all again. Yeah, thanks, Marcus. Yeah, make sure, George, just say 19 or big C because, yeah, just stay on the lookout for that. So, yeah, man, it's been 20 months since Nunes fought at 135, right? Has it? Yeah. Oh, man, so that's going to be a problem, man. Like, will her body be okay going back down to 135 that fast? Stipe and Fedor. Go with Stipe. Maybe a good fight, but I lean towards. I'm gonna lean. Yeah, I'm gonna lean towards Stipe a little bit there. That's just me. I think his wrestling is very, very. I think it's effective, but I know Fedor, man. Fedor, Fedor's got a sambo background. You know, he's a pretty good judoka as well. You know, he's got that a little bit shorter. I know he's a little bit shorter, but you know, he has a high, extensive background. You know, in many wrestling. You know, many years of wrestling, man. I'm gonna lean a little bit towards Stipe. I'm gonna lean a little bit towards Stipe because I think his I think he does have a good. People call me crazy just based off this. I think he has a good jab. I think he got a good jab. I think he can switch it up a little bit quicker. And you know, he's a bit of a cautious fighter too. I think that saves him. But you know that heavyweight division, anything can happen, man. You know, anything can happen in that heavyweight division. Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader and Stipe. Ryan Bader and Stipe. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with. Well, first you said Bader and Fedor in a rematch. I'm gonna go with Bader in a rematch. I think against Stipe again. I lean towards. I'm gonna lean a little bit towards Stipe again, just because of the level of competition too. You know, I know that Bader has a high level of competition on his end. You know, especially with Bellator and early UFC. But I think it'd be close. But I just think Stipe has a better overall skill set to me. Gordon said, I hope Stipe goes to Bellator. I wonder if he will, man. I wonder if he would go to Bellator, man, at this point. If he doesn't get the fight he wants. You know, if he kind of wants to end his career on a just kind of like a, but not really. That wouldn't really be like a high note, you know, going to Bellator. I mean, high note would kind of be trying to get the fights in the UFC or that, you know, title fight again. But if he just wanted to fight on a yeah, you say you got a lucky punch on Fedor. Yeah, I just think that sometimes that'll give that person that advantage psychologically. But what else, man? Ooh, did he? He talking about going to one? Oh, okay. I mean, I'd rather him go. Honestly, I'd rather him go to Bellator though if he didn't get the rematch. Yeah, I think there'd be some better. There'd be some better fights to make if he can get the rematch here. Yeah, I see that he's. Yeah, a couple weeks ago he said that, right? Yeah, about a week ago. No, a few days ago. Sorry. Stipe said he's angry. He's not getting automatic rematch with Francis Ngannou. He teases an interest in one. I don't even know who the heavyweight champion is over there, man. Like, I usually watch one for some of the other smaller fights, atom weights and so on. But who is the one heavyweight championship? Like, I hear the money's not bad over there. Demetrius Johnson, he went over there. Arhan Bular. Arhan Bular is the heavyweight champion. Sorry, I ain't too familiar with him, though. I know you're probably not either, Gordon, since you asked. Yeah, man, Bellator just seemed like it would be a better fit. I mean, better fights, some better names over there. When you mention like Bader and so on and Fedor, man, those would be some good fights to make. And I think from what for the level that Pam Bam Sorensen is on, I was looking at BJ from No Filter MMA, his interview, and she said like the money was just about as good as what the UFC would have offered her. You know what I mean? She said that money was just about as good as what the UFC was going to offer her. So I think Stipe, they could probably match something for him. I don't think they could satisfy what John Jones asked for, but I think for a guy like Stipe could get some good money and get some good fights. So if he doesn't get the rematch, that's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at this point. I mean, he's already been there and done that, has had his trilogy with DC and so on. So, go over there and fight some of these heavyweights then. If it's pissing them off like that, so. Okay, yeah. Yeah, MMA Arhan Bular, I think he's a, let me see. Yeah, he's Indian. Yeah, he's an Indian champion fighting out of Canada. He's part Canadian. He's a wrestler too, from what it says. He's a wrestler. I don't know though, man. Stipe. Oh wow. Arhan Bular. Let's see. He was trying to get Stipe to come over. Hold on. Yeah, because he's 39 too. So yeah, Arhan Bular said another UFC fighter who's not happy with how he's being treated. I love to get my hands on Stipe. I went through 3 training camps for you already and know exactly how to bust you up. Wow. Wow. Check that out. So he calling him out, man. Stipe responded. Arhan Bular, he came back and said, I see you, nothing to think about. Get your A out here. I bust you up everywhere and finish the job for my big brother DC. Damn, let's do a trade. Wow. He wants it, man. I don't know, Gordon. Now, Bellator might not be the move. I mean, I like it, but I think Stipe might be going to 1. Yeah. He called him out, man. He said, look, let's do it. I mean, Stipe kind of responded with the little thinking emoji. He put up the little thinking emoji, but he didn't really say I'm coming or anything. It's Bular that was saying, yeah, bring it. Oh, Stipe Fedor, yeah, I'm sure they would make that a nice card. I mean, I would pay for it. Yeah, big fights like that, I'll pay for that. Definitely. Yeah, for sure. But I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. We'll be back on tomorrow, regular time, about 7 p.m. I just wanted to come on and talk some Zhang Weili a little bit and her interview. But shout out to everybody in the chat, everybody coming through and, giving their points on different things. And, yeah, Gordon Morris, I know you would tell me about that injury thing, man. That's something I wanted to talk about a little bit later, just how bad knees can be, for a fighter, so I thought that was kind of interesting that you mentioned that because I was talking to somebody else about that, and you were just saying, like, a person's knee is just as critical as it's one, your knees go, you're gone. Your knee goes, you go. So, yeah, that was a good point you brought up about your knees going, Gordon. Yeah, fight's about to start in, 45 minutes. So, yeah, we're going to get up out of here. Be back on about 7 tomorrow, y'all. And, yeah, shout out MJ, John Baker, and High Five that asked me about this Zhang Weili thing. Like I said, y'all suggested it, but it was interesting. I'm waiting for the third part. To come out. Oh man, Marcus, it's the co-main event now. Bays and DePaula coming off of L's, and they're the co-main event. I mean, it's all good. It's not like a major card though, anyway. But all right, y'all. Let me get up out of here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure y'all subscribe, like always. Combo Breaker 99. I will see y'all at the fight night. Peace.